Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is August the 7th of 2023. The time is 8:35. Our panel members today are Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Marabella, and I'll be acting as chair. Support staff located here at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge are
Carla Williams.
Thank you.
Denise Adams.
And our remote location is Ibera Parish Jail. Mr. Segura, is there anyone there with you? Any staff members there with you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Would the staff introduce themselves, please?
Sergeant Laura Tarver.
Thank you, Sergeant. Our first case is going to be a parole revocation. Mr. Segura, would you give us your full name and DOC number?
Yes, sir. My name is Brye L Segura. My DOC number is 726-765.
Mr. Segura, I want to explain our process to you. I'm going to cover your parole revocation questionnaire. Then I'm going to read the allegations of how you were alleged to have violated your parole. Then I'll ask you to plead either guilty, not guilty, guilty with the statement, or not guilty with the statement. And then at the appropriate time, we will allow those persons who wish to have any input. Currently on the phone, wanting to speak on your behalf is your mother, Ms. Penny Segura, your cousin, Johnny Broussard, and your cousin, Mona Broussard. And then we'll have a full discussion with the panel, and you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say, and then we'll vote. You understand our process?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you have before you your parole revocation questionnaire?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Is that your signature, Mr. Segura, at the bottom, dated June the 27th of 2023?
Yes, sir, I do.
Was that information accurate and correct when you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Is it all still accurate and correct today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you ready to proceed with your revocation hearing?
Yes, sir, I am.
I'm going to read the allegations against you, and I'm going to ask you to enter your plea. Number 4, you engaged in criminal conduct on August the 6th of 2022 through September the 27th of 2022 when you committed domestic abuse battery by strangulation and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. How do you plead to those charges?
Not guilty.
On June the 12th of 2023, you appeared before Judge Anthony Salini in the 16th JDC in St. Martin Parish, and the charges were dismissed. On September, the next allegation is on September the 23rd of 2022, you admitted to consuming alcohol and were referred to Keys Outpatient Behavioral Clinic for a substance abuse evaluation. To date, you have failed to provide proof of enrollment and/or attending Keys Outpatient Behavioral Health or any other treatment facility. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Mr. Segura, your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You was released on parole on August the 2nd of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And these incidents began August the 5th to September the 27th of 2022. Is that correct?
That's what was said.
That's what was said. So tell me what happened.
Okay, so how you doing, Mr. Tony? How you doing, Ms. Wise? I'm kind of.
I know.
This is my life I'm fighting for, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Wise. This is my life is not disposable. My life has been made a mockery of for the past 330 days.
Mr. Segura, you will have an opportunity to state your position. Right now, we're going to ask you to answer Ms. Wise's questions. You'll have an opportunity to explain yourself and to say all of those things. But right now, she's asking a specific question. So just answer her questions, and you'll have an opportunity to say what it is you'd like to say.
What happened between August the 5th and September the 27th involving the victim in this case? In your words,
That I have no, the only thing I'm guilty of in that matter is of cheating, Ms. Wise and Mr. Tony. I don't want to make me look like a bad guy, but that's the case. This is what happened. She went through my phone, she found some things, and then the next thing you know, not on, from August 5th or 6th to September, you're telling me I abused her this whole time and nothing ever came about. I want to answer the question, but I need to say everything for this in order for this to.
So your statement is you never hit her. You never strangled her.
No,
You
ma'am.
never hit her, you never strangled her. Okay. So what was the reason for the protective order that was issued on October the 5th of 2022? What was the reason for that? Do you know?
No, I have a paper here. They dissolved the protective order. There's no.
Well, we don't have that. We show, or maybe the facility can fax it to us. We don't have that. It shows that it's in place until October the 4th of 2024.
No, it says after execution, the court filed the order dissolving the protective order issued in this matter on October 5th.
Okay. Ask them, can they fax that to us?
Oh, yeah, this whole paper.
It's on the dismissal court paper.
I don't think they have.
It's on his, yes, ma'am, it's on his St. Martin 2022-25-8891. The minutes for his dismissal.
Okay.
Mr. Sanji, on a motion from Mr. Sanji, it was ordered that the matter be dismissed. After the execution, the court order dissolved the protective order issued. It's the very last statement right before it said that the court was then honorably adjourned.
Okay. We'll see if we can get that, but right now I don't have that in front of me.
I can email it if you'd like me to.
Yes, ma'am, please.
And it's pearl.wise@la.gov.
Can I read it to y'all first before? Can I just read it?
That's one way to get it to me. Yes, ma'am, that'll work.
Okay. One moment, I'll be right back.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Tony, and I'm sorry, Ms. Wise. I understand. I do understand, but the information I have showed it was still in effect, so I'm glad. So now let's turn our attention to the allegation of not completing treatment. Why? I have. So, and on the bottom of that paper she's faxing y'all is my insurance policy number. That is the whole reason. I did, Miss Sarah Taylor, probation and parole, asked me to go to Keys for Sober Living, which I did the same day. I went there, I signed up, and I took a drug screen. Passed the drug screen, everything was negative. The only thing I didn't follow back up, being I didn't have the insurance. But being incarcerated in St. Martin Parish Jail, I've got the policy number, and it's on the bottom of that paper, and my mother has the policy number to my insurance now. I couldn't go to Keys for Sober Living with no insurance.
That was not indicated in anything that we had.
Yeah, I know. And she has the paper from Keys from Sober Living also, Miss Sarah Taylor.
Well, I mean, we have the paper that's showing that you did go, you did the assessment, but you had a return appointment that you did not keep.
Yeah, I never had the insurance to go back.
They told you do not come back until you get your insurance.
No, and I'm gonna be all honest with y'all. They did not say for me not to go back. They just informed me, listen, to do Keys for Sober Living, you need to have insurance. So, and I was at the time, I worked 2 jobs, Ms. Wise, Mr. Tony, not 1 job, 2 jobs. I was back and forth through Lake Charles, DSL construction, and AVEX through painting planes. I worked 2 jobs there. So throughout that time, and I ended up getting arrested ultimately. So I didn't have.
When you're working 2 jobs, how did you end up having time to drink?
Well, and that's another thing. I have never, and I've been on drugs since I'm 13 years old, Ms. Wise and Mr. Tony, and I'm here today to say that for the last 18 months of my life, at 30 years old, I've been clean and sober, not smoke nothing, not pop nothing, not start nothing. But I did, as a working man, working 12-hour days, I did sit at the hotel. I get per diem. Either I can use the per diem to come home with, or I could get a hotel. I did sit at the hotel as a man after working in the sun, 90-degree, 100-degree sun. I did sit down at the hotel with the 5 other people I work with, and I did open the alcohol beverage, and I did take 2 sips, put it down, and go take a shower. And I admitted that to my parole officer. I didn't hide that from her. I didn't keep that from her. That's the only way she knew about that. I admitted that to her. I told her that, not thinking she would have tried to get me in trouble over it or violate me for having a sip of beer, of Corona at that. And I don't want to be, yeah.
Okay, let me go and stop you right there. And there was another allegation that you went to the casino as you were gambling with your girlfriend. What do you say to that?
Never. I live by a truck stop. I live by St. Martin Parish truck stop, and they have a Subway and a hot food corner in there. And honestly, I'm there every day eating Subway and a hot food corner. The hot food corner has some of the best hamburgers around, and I'm there every day eating. I have never.
So your statement to me is that you are here, you are in jail, and you didn't do nothing. That's what you're telling me. You didn't do nothing.
For once in my life, listen, I've been on parole for and Ms. Wise, and listen, I'm on the same path you're on. For once, I've been on parole since 2018. Every time I've been arrested, I'm calling the parole officer. I'm calling y'all probation and parole.
So let's stick with this one. Let's stick with this release in August 22. Let's just stick with this one.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm calling probation and parole to come revoke me because I know that I'm wrong with something. I have never done this in my life because I refuse to say that I did something I did not do. And I still remain innocent as an innocent man today. Not only did St. Martin Parish, the state of Louisiana could not try me and found that I was an innocent man and dropped all my charges, dismissed the protective order. I was also on probation. I went to in front of Your Honor Susan DeMaye on June 19th. You know what she says? She dismissed my revocation and reinstated my probation. I owe her £0 for parole and probation. I paid. I reported every time. This
Okay, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there because you're still getting off this supervision. So tell me this: what do you need? What do you need to get out of jail and stay out of jail? What do you need?
The only thing. What do I need as a person?
Yes.
As an individual, yes. is to pick better people to be around. Because for the first time in my life, I've worked so, I have a $150,000 mortgage that I've worked so hard for that I'm behind now. I have vehicle insurance that lapsed. Ms. Wise, Mr. Tony, I'm a productive man. I pay my taxes, I pay my bills, I have a mortgage, I have car insurance, I pay daycare. The mother to my child right now can't even work the hours she works because I'm not there to pay for childcare. I have so much going for me and had so much going for me.
The document to y'all emailed the DLC.
And for once in my life, Ms. Wise, Mr. Tony, I'm not, listen, I'm a straight shooter. I would not be sick if I did anything wrong and I was wrong and I committed this. I would not be sick in front of y'all to this day. I would not. Because if I did it, I did it. I didn't. I will not come and say
that's all I have. That's all I have. Let me hear from your witnesses.
Segura, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry for getting
you've been whoa. Now you answer our questions. While you were in jail, you got charged with bringing contraband in, didn't you? You got
no. I guess no. It was
yes. No. What's the answer? Because you were in jail even after they dropped these charges because you had new charges having been accused of bringing something into the jail.
Yes,
and you ended up pleading guilty to criminal mischief. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir. But
so that's why all the charges were dropped. Because the victim said she dropped the charges, she didn't want you prosecuted. You got a new charge while you were in jail. Even after she dropped the charges, you stayed in jail because you had new charges while you were in jail. Isn't that right?
No, sir. This was all taken care of the same day. What you're saying is right. I'm not saying that's wrong, but this was all taken care of the same day, and only because the district attorney in St. Martinville said, "Look, man, she wrote an affidavit saying."
Segura. Okay, answer my question.
Yes, sir.
You were in jail on this revocation hold, and you got a new charge.
Yes, sir.
And what was that new charge?
Criminal mischief because.
No. You weren't arrested for criminal mischief. You pled guilty to criminal mischief. You were charged with contraband in a penal institution.
Yes, sir, and so was.
What was the allegation for the charge of contraband in a penal institution?
Yes,
Everybody's wrong but you.
No, I'm not.
Answer my question. What was the original charge for contraband in a penal institution? What did they accuse you of doing?
They accused me of 12 cigarettes. I'm not saying I'm not saying you're wrong on that, Mr. Tony, and I'm not trying to say everybody's wrong but me. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, all these charges were just, I did not do this. I did not commit no domestic abuse. If I would have been falsely arrested in the first place, none of this would have ever happened. I was wrongfully arrested in the beginning.
All right, Mr. Segura. Okay.
But yes.
How long you said you've been using drugs since you were 13?
Yes, sir, I have.
How did you stop?
Last time, my last time being incarcerated, when I went home, I had my baby girl, and whenever I looked at her and whenever I put that in my life, I knew one thing: if I don't stop using drugs, if I don't get on the right path and get a job and work the job and hold a job and pay my bills, pay my taxes, have a mortgage, I will never have my daughter in my life. And I could not face that fact. So for the first time in my life, I'm here to say that after 18 months of me being clean and sober, and I used drugs since I was 13 years old, I'm proud to say to this day, I'm still remain clean and sober. And
now let's hear from your supporters. Let's hear from your mother, Ms. Penny Segura. Ms. Segura, would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your son?
I'm Penny Segura, Brad's mother, and Brye has not been in trouble when he was little, and just as he got older, he had a job and met new people. And I'm not gonna say people made him do anything, or like people do what they want. They all fall. He came back up. He was doing so well, and then I don't know what I like. It just we come out of town, and it's hard to stay away from his friends and his people that all come together when they together. I can't explain. I'm nervous right now. But he really is a good kid. He tries very hard. He has a lot of things going on. He's a very smart child. I've learned that since being here. He's learned a lot about himself, and I learned about himself also. And I'm proud that he is my son. But I would really want to be able to go where he would be out of trouble and not. I don't even know no more. Like I would like to see my son get better and do what he has to do to get in his daughter's life and just be the man that I know he can be.
Thank you very much, Ms. Segura. We appreciate that. Is Mr. Johnny Broussard there with you?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broussard, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your cousin.
My name is Johnny Broussard. I have all the business, and I told Brye when he got out, he can work with me. I'm like a miscellaneous contract. I do different job, paint and stuff. I've been successful for the last 5 years with it. And I know he's a good kid. I've been around for a long time, and he just needs to walk his own walk, you know. He said nobody can stop him from doing it for himself. And I'm just going to give him a shot when he comes out.
Thank you very much. Is Mona Broussard there?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Broussard, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know.
I would just like to say that he is a good child of kind heart, but he does just need to do his own way and do Brye and walk the straight path. But I know he can do it because he is a good child, been around him since day one.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Segura, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Yes, sir. I would just like to know, you seem to say, you said everybody's wrong but me. And I'm sorry that took that from me, Mr. Tony, but that's not true. It's real. Listen, it's real, and I would like to speak on my behalf when I say this. It's real frustrating, and it's detrimental to my life. Mr. Tony, I have a $150,000 mortgage that I'm behind right now. I've been incarcerated for the last 330 days, consecutive, day after day after day. All charges was dropped against me on June 12th. It's August 7th, and I'm still remaining incarcerated. No, to date. No one is going to help me go and do everything I've been working so hard for, staying clean and sober. I have a mortgage through Vanderbilt. I have a vehicle. My insurance lapsed 5 months ago. No one, you know how hard it's going to be for me to get back up and when I've already was down in life, and now I've built myself up to be the man that I am to this day. And like I said, Mr. Tony, if I was guilty or wrong of anything that I was originally accused of, I wouldn't be sitting in front of y'all to this day because I would have been revoked myself. But I would not say I'm guilty of something I did not do, Mr. Tony. It's just that it's injustice. It's inhumane. It's not right. My life is not disposable, man. I've been trying so hard through life, and finally I got to a point to where, if anything I'm guilty of, it's cheating, man, and I should have never. And that's something that I am wrong of. Other than that, Mr. Tony, I pay all my bills. I do everything out there that I'm supposed to do. I've been clean, and so I've been on drugs since I'm 13 years old. For the first time in my life, a 30-year-old man, I'm clean and sober, man. For the last 18 months, I've not smoked nothing, popped nothing, started nothing. That's the biggest thing I ever accomplished in my life, is to remain clean and sober and stay this way. I'm not out there hurting people. I'm not out there robbing, stealing, killing. I live in a neighborhood, a trailer park of 22 people. 17 of them people, I cut their grass for free on the weekend. I don't deserve to be incarcerated. I hope that y'all find it in your heart, Ms. Wise, Mr. Tony. I hope y'all find it in your heart that I don't deserve me being incarcerated is the best thing for me. I think not, man. I have so much going out there. So much going. And need to be, and I've been incarcerated 330 consecutive days. There's a chance I might not even get none of that credit at all, Mr. Tony. And 70 of those days are solely on just a parole. There's a chance I might not get none of that.
Thank you, Mr. Segura. We appreciate your comments, sir. Panel, Ms. Wise?
For me, young man, for me, there's too many moving parts in this. You had a preliminary hearing. They found probable cause in the allegations, although you were not found guilty in court. But the preliminary hearing, they found probable cause that you have those offenses. We're voting now. For me, my vote is to revoke your supervision and that you complete a long-term substance abuse treatment program while you're incarcerated. That is my vote.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur.
Mr. Segura, you have 2 votes to revoke your parole. Mr. Segura, as I listen to you, I see before me a young man who has got a significant substance abuse problem. I think your characterizations of everything, the way you talk, everything else stems from your substance abuse. And it looks like you've gone to the Steve Hall program. I don't know whether you completed it or not back in 2018.
Sir, I did.
But you need more treatment. I agree with my colleagues. My vote would be likewise to vote, but recommend that you be allowed to have long-term substance abuse treatment. That's our vote. Good luck to you, sir.
Can I ask one thing? What does that mean?
Well, it means that you've been revoked, and we're going to recommend that while you remain in prison, you get to go to a long-term substance abuse treatment program.
And
Give you some help.
what does that mean? That would mean Stephen Hall? Or...
Exactly what I just said, Mr. Segura. You've been revoked. You're going back to prison to serve your time, and we're recommending that you do get long-term substance abuse treatment.
Even after I just served 330 days consecutively?
6 months of that was for the criminal mischief charge you pled to.
I did this all the same day. Is what
Good
I'm
luck to
saying.
you, Mr. Segura. We'll be closed out at Iberville Parish. Thank you very much for your help there.
I feel bad. Uh, I'm shocked, really. I mean, he was a character. I really felt like it was Jersey Shore meets Louisiana, and that's what I was watching. I couldn't. You know, you know, it was actually fun. I thought it was kind of like it was kind of funny until he got denied. And the reason I'm upset that he got denied is I don't understand why. If what he's saying is true, we have seen people on this channel all the time get accused of doing something to their significant other, but she does make, but a good percentage of the time, they really do make it up. Because of cheating, that's just how it works. I don't know what percentage of it is that they're making it up. Is it 50%? Is it 30%? But it's high enough. It's actually a major problem, in my opinion, that people are getting revoked all the time. Plenty of times the woman claims that she made it up, but you can kind of see through it. In this case, it was difficult to see through it. She didn't come and make a statement. You didn't have anyone, but they did drop the charges. So you kind of, in my opinion, have to just, he already served, like he said, 365 days. Now, they're talking about the contraband charges, and I'm expecting it to be, so it was cigarettes. It was 12 cigarettes. Come on, dude. Like, come on. And they went so hard on him. It wasn't just like a write-up. They actually convicted him to give him more time. It was like they wanted him, for whatever reason, to spend more time in prison. So they did that to him. Now, I don't know how much time he's backing. I can't recall what his full sentence is. Did they mention it and did I miss it? But I do have a record. Ads pop up every time I show it. So it's not, but basically he was caught in 20, he was caught that what initially sent him into prison, where he was then paroled on. God, it's still popping up. Let's just see if I can catch it real quick. Yeah, it's just broken. These newspaper stuff are just ridiculous. But I think it was 2018 or something. He was caught with like meth and stuff like that. And they gave him that sentence. But it was, kind of an interesting interview that apparently Mr. Freeman didn't exist in. He kept saying, Miss Wise and he wasn't even saying Mr. Mirabella. He was calling them by their first names, but it was. But he kept saying it over, Mr. Tony, and Miss Wise, but not once did he say Mr. Freeman. And I'm like, there is a third person room. Maybe Mr. Freeman's plaque isn't listed, so he couldn't see the name, but it was just, I don't know, kind of interesting. And he comes out just, really excited. You can see he wants to get out. I mean, the eagerness. He's like, my whole life has been made a mockery. That's how he started. I'm guilty of cheating, but nothing else. And then he talks about taking 2 sips of, and he's like, it was Corona. Like, God, it wasn't even good stuff. I had 2 sips of Corona after working hard. And then something that was Miss Wise asked him, well, did you go to a casino? And his answers, I live by a truck stop. And and they have really good food court and Subways, and I eat Subways there every day. I'm there every day. It's really great. And the poor guy probably just craving a good Subway sandwich. But I have no idea that was like that didn't. What did that have to do with the question? Did he go to the casino? Yeah, it would be like I have not smoked, I have not popped, I have not snorted anything. And he didn't help himself in certain situations. He completed the Steve Hoyle program, but when they asked him how he'd stay sober, he didn't have any of the like, I go to AA, I have the sponsor. He didn't. He just said his daughter. Now, many people, if he never had a dirty urine. His contraband was cigarettes, nothing else. He has been working. He's been paying his dues, and it's possible that this girl made it all up. And I don't get it. I don't get the denial. I think they just didn't like him. He was irritable to them. But I just don't get it, to lock him up and have him retake a program. You're calling him substance abuse issues, but there's no proof that he's had any substance abuse problems. So I just don't get it. And they let go. They let go the worst of the worst, but him, they have to pick him locked up. But with that, and we'll come back because we're going to do another hearing. This one is really fascinating. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to run some experiments. I'm going to play these hearings and these group hearings that we do on our 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time premieres, but I'm also going to release them, some of the very, I think, intriguing ones as individual hearings. The reason I'm doing this is that a lot of the, I'm wondering if like the 2 hour, hour and a half is a little intimidating for some people. I'm not sure what it is, but they tend to just get a lot less eyeballs, all less views. So I'm going to run this experiment and run some of these by themselves, but also include them. So if you see it, please keep that in mind. That you'll know why you're seeing it. You're seeing it a second time. But with that, let's hop in. Actually, here, I think I run it. Also, like you saw with the last one, I kind of ran the recording longer than, instead of just starting it at the beginning. Not often do you have the opportunity to kind of be a fly on the wall. And when they do, I'll record it. Let me know what you think. Some people might just say, what am I watching? And, this is annoying. Let me fast forward. Some people might find it to be somewhat intriguing, maybe. I think it's interesting. It's like the moments before the storm, the scariness, all that anxiety that they have. In the waiting part, I can't even imagine. We saw hearing the other day, they said, I have butterflies in my stomach. And
Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 9:49. Our panel members today are Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Marabella. I'll be acting as chair. Our next case is Ms. Charlene Norris. Ms. Norris, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
My name is Charlene Norris, and my DOC number is 635-369.
Thank you, Ms. Norris. Let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the conclusion of that interview, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board before we vote. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Charlene E. Norris. DOC number 635369, date of birth November the 16th of 1952. She's classified as a second felony offender. She has a parole eligibility date of December the 5th of 2023, an adjusted good time date of April the 23rd of 2025, and a full term date of September the 24th of 2041. She is currently serving a 25-year sentence on a number of DWI offenses, fourth offense, three-fourth offenses, and a third offense. Is that information basically accurate, Ms. Norris?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Norris, your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. He will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Norris, how old are you?
I'm 70.
Okay, and how many years have you served on this charge?
Since 2018. And so that was 5 years,
Okay.
5.5, almost.
All right, and you have a total sentence of 25 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your educational level?
2 years in college, up to, I was a sophomore. And I did not complete my sophomore year.
What are your triggers, Ms. Norris? What causes you to drink so much? I mean, you have a long history of DWIs. I counted 7 different arrests on your rap sheet. What causes all this drinking?
I was reared, I accept responsibility for it. I was reared in a very strict home, and I was not allowed to, for example, wear pants. Of course, and no dancing, that sort of thing. As I got in high school and then on to college, I wanted to, see what I was missing out because, well, I'm a preacher's daughter. Other preachers' daughters could do those things, and they seemed okay. And I didn't date very much, and I didn't seem to have a social life. And whenever I was a little bit later on, I was in my early 20s when I did finally drink.
Okay, but
And
then when you finally started drinking, it looks like you couldn't quit, right?
No, sir, that was very sporadic until I moved from Pineville to Nashville, Tennessee. And then I started drinking at that, more so, or drinking. Really, my first glass of wine was in Nashville.
Okay. Have you ever been married?
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay. How long did y'all date?
6 months. We had gone to Louisiana College together, and when I moved back from Nashville, I was we saw each other, and anyway, we dated for 6 months, and he asked me to marry him.
Okay. Did y'all have any children?
No, sir.
Your last DWI arrest, that was in 2018?
Yes, sir.
Then you got revoked, I think, in 20 or 21 or something like that. Probably was far prior. What kind of treatment have you received?
I have been to a number of treatment centers. When I have gotten 8 years during that period of time was when I was fed up with my life. I knew that I was not comfortable. I was not being myself, and I hated fact that I was depending on something to make me feel better, because I enjoy life. I have a very pleasant outlook. I have a heart for God, and I had not had to use a crutch ever. And I was just using it as I feel, a way to blend in, but then it started to make me feel better. Everything was better when I had a drink. And of course, that backfired really bad.
Well, how can you assure us on this board that you won't have a drink when you get out this time?
What I can tell you is that I have today to live. I woke up this morning grateful to be alive, and this is every morning. I can't believe God's even spared me to even get to be 70. I'm so grateful. Love the gray hair. I don't feel that I deserved it, but God's grace, I'm here. And I want to see each day count. I want to give back years that I have taken from myself, from my family, from friends. I played in a lot of churches, as well as other music. And I've just, the Grand Ole Opry, gotten to travel about a third of the world. And God spared me and has brought me to this point. I feel like it's for a purpose, another season of my life. But I am.
You had told me how, why should we believe you're gonna quit drinking? I'm glad to hear that you live every day and all of that, but how are you gonna quit drinking?
I have quit drinking. Of course, in here was the beginning. And I have no longer have any kind of desire to feel different. I hardly drink coffee. I want to be me. I feel good about myself. I have a Heavenly Father that loves me, that sustains me day to day. And I have nothing, I never always had, okay, I'm stammering. I didn't like the idea of depending on something else or someone else. Plus, I knew in the Bible it talks about not drinking as into excess and wine. My goal is to live the Christian life as close as I can, and am aware of. Therefore, it does not fit into my style of living at all, or to like for me to drink at all.
Okay. You look at law enforcement and both judges had no comment. The district attorney is opposed. Sheriff Mike Cass is unopposed. Unopposed is the Sheriff Mark Woods spokesman. You had no comment from the state police. We got no comment from your family. Where are you gonna live? What are you gonna do? And what is your sobriety plan?
Okay, I have been told that more than likely I would go to a rehabilitation nursing home for a while. My sister, I thought that she was speaking with you all. I have only one immediate family member, Shirley Spencer. She's in Savannah, Tennessee, and with a very sick husband in his early 80s. And it was her plan to come. She was unable to come due to that. And so that is my knowledge to this point. That's what I've been told. And
Okay, what is your sobriety plan? How are you gonna stay sober?
one day at a time.
Well, what is gonna help you stay sober one day at a time? What are you gonna do?
Well, God does that. Their Celebrate Recovery was a great place for me to gather with other recovering alcoholics and with the same minds, like hearts. And I did find a lot of help there. Went through a lot of being an adult, moving back from Nashville to Pineville, Alexandria area. It was not probably the very best thing, or I did not make a good decision in that. So, well, let me rephrase it. I think it was a good decision, but I was not ready to give it up yet. I was my problem, no one else. The strict bringing up, the discipline, not getting to do what other people, kids did, that was not the problem. I was the problem.
And what could have been the consequences of all this drinking and driving? You ever think about that?
Oh, yes, sir. I could have, well, number one, I could have killed someone else. A number of other people, could have killed myself. Could be brain dead from accidents. I have some liver problems as a result. Let's see, it's called, what is it?
Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis of the liver as a result. I've been told that if I drink one more drink, that I could just write myself off. I have I have some physical problems and they have improved. But if I drink, I can be picking out the color of my casket.
What is your health diagnosis? Maybe you can help us with that, Warden. What is her health diagnosis?
She has a couple of different medical concerns that we have. She is currently living in our infirmary medical ward, but she has adult failure to thrive, some protein and calorie malnutrition. She does have the cirrhosis of the liver, degenerative disc disease of the lumbar spine, and she's also diagnosed from a mental health standpoint with some dementia and dysthymia, which she's receiving treatment for. And I can elaborate a little bit for Ms. Norris. We have spoken with and corresponded with Capitol Oaks Nursing Home, and they have agreed to accept her for housing if she is granted parole today. Her sister, we do correspond with her sister, and she does have a relationship with her, but like Ms. Norris stated, she is elderly and does have a sick husband, so she would not be able to care for her medical needs. So we have, obviously, like I said, spoken with Capitol Oaks, and she would go to a nursing home if she's granted parole.
And what was your job at the prison before you got in the infirmary?
Well, I played piano for the Catholic services, and I did not have let's see, well, I did general, I mostly sat because I was not able to, I was just sick a lot. And that was a toll that the alcohol had taken on me, plus what I already had. And then I added fuel to the fire with alcohol. And so it's taken this long for me to be able to, with therapy, I can walk some and, I have a desire. I've been active in my life, outside, tennis, running, skiing, water and snow skiing. And I love to exercise. I love I like being in shape. It's more pertinent for me to be in shape mentally and heart-wise than it is, I realize, body-wise, but it goes together for me, goes hand in hand.
Okay. You have 0 write-up, which is great. You're medium custody. low risk, moderate needs. You've taken numerous classes. We kind of touched on them a little bit. Are you in AA over there?
Not in here. I have gone some, but I cannot take it's very hard to sit there with the language, and it defeats everything that I'm hearing, and they're calling on God as a higher power. And in the next breath, I'm hearing, I've never been around cursing, even being in the music industry, or just a word here and there, but this is rough language. And I did better not going to AA. I'm not going to say, it's been a while since I've been active, of course, in church, but I've been going to church. But I study myself every day. And I love to read. And so I read things that are positive. And I'm reading a commentary now, Thomas Nelson's commentary on the Bible. Old Testament, it's fascinating to reading, but that helps me know my heritage from the beginning, as well as you do wrong, you pay for it.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Warden, I've got maybe one or two questions. Capital Oaks Nursing Home, is this something we anticipate to be permanent, or is this temporary?
No, this would be more permanent housing. We've set up Medicaid, already started that paperwork process, so it would be more long-term.
Ms. Norris, you're an interesting person. I show that your first arrest was in 1999 for your first DWI. You said you took a first glass of wine. How old were you then?
In my 20s, early 20s, or middle 20s, like early 20s to middle to 25, say. I 23, 24.
And on previous incarcerations, you've taken some programs, very good programs, Living in Balance, Celebrate Recovery. They apparently didn't work, but you've taken them again while you've been in this time.
Yes.
And perhaps the light is now come on. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I now, okay, if I'm understanding what you're saying, I've had enough. I'm not throwing any more of my life away. God might as well take me on today. I'm no good in that light. I'm going to once again kill somebody, kill myself. I've just blown every reputation wise, my character, all of that. And now I want to go back to the person that people respect and know that they can talk to and be solid and
you're in a wheelchair, right?
yes, sir.
Is that how you did it? Are you ambulatory? Can you walk on your own, or do you need the wheelchair?
I can walk. I'm walking a little bit more every day. I'm exercising every day. I work with a therapist here every Wednesday, and so I'm getting that back. And I'm excited about that, and because that helps me be whole. I would accept, I accept what God's grace, period, because I'm alive. But I'm ready to go, to the next level, so I can be able to help somebody else. I can be an inspiration to someone else.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your comments.
Is this a compassionate release? There was some confusion in the file, boy. Do you?
It is not. No, this is regular parole. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That clears it up. That's okay.
Ms. Norris, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before the board votes?
I appreciate the opportunity that you all have given me, that LCIW has given me, to allow God to work in my life and for me to do my part. I have to do my part before God's gonna do anything further. I appreciate you all being the balm in Gilead. I have found there's a lot of things that go on I don't understand or never heard of or seen or whatever. I have been blessed a lot more than I've been stunned. And I'm just grateful that I've been given such a loving and disciplined place to heal. And people are so real and willing to help you. But I have to ask sometimes for help. I'm having a bad day. You know, can you listen? Or I can be the ears that somebody's listening to, because I'm really feeling so much stronger. But I know my strength only lies within my being humble and my realizing I cannot do it myself. But one day at a time, I can do that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Norris. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Freeman, board ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You know, Ms. Norris, I listened to you and in your mind, I know you're very, very sincere. Problem is, you know, I'm not hearing, you know, no sobriety plan. You know, the Lord is great. I believe in God myself. But I mean, you need something else. I mean, they put you in a nursing home, but you can walk and you can drive. And if you do that drinking and driving again, and you don't really have the support that you're going to need to stop you, then what happens? Somebody dies. My vote today is to deny.
Thank you. Wise.
Ms. Norris, I've listened to you as well today. I am inclined to take a chance on you because you're going to be in a nursing home. You're going to be in an environment where you I think your prognosis is good though. I do think you are going to improve because of your own grit, your own willingness. But my vote is to grant to the nursing home residents only, and you are to have no outside trips or visits without prior approval of probation or parole. So it's like you have to stay there. Anything else you want to do as your health improves, you have to clear it with your parole officer. And I think we're gonna ask the parole officer to send to the parole board. That is my vote.
Ms. Norris, I've listened very intently to what you had to say. I'm sorry that you don't think AA is a way for you to go. I do understand the concerns that you've expressed, and those meetings can get rough at times. It appears to me that you have taken some of the better courses that we have in substance abuse. Didn't help you the last time, but it certainly seems to have helped you this time. I think probably your medical condition has a lot to do with it. Cirrhosis of the liver is a very significant and serious disease caused by alcohol. And you seem to have a handle on that now. My vote likewise would be as Ms. Wise. My vote would be to grant to the nursing home with the condition that you not be allowed to leave there without parole supervision. So that would be my vote. Is 2 votes enough? Or do we need all 3?
Yeah.
She's got some college.
Low risk assessment,
Yeah, she got low risk.
and she's done substance abuse.
Yes, she celebrate recovery and live in balance. Okay. You have 2 votes to grant your parole to the nursing home with conditions you not leave without parole supervision or at least authority to leave. So your parole has been granted today. So good luck to you, Ms. Norris.
Thank you. Can I just say, I will go to AA there. It was here. I've gone to AA all of my, in Nashville. And then here, I have attended.
Well, I would encourage you to continue to go to,
Yes, sir.
hopefully in the nursing home, it'll be a little more tame than it might be where you are.
Yes, sir.
Morton, thank you very much for your help. I believe we're done, and we'll be adjourned at 10:15.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You
You
too.
too.
This is one of the most unique cases that we've covered, I think. Let me just keep it up there. I really, I mean, I'm blown away. I'm a little bit speechless why Mr. Freeman would make a decision then to say, I don't want to take a risk on you is I don't get how he would do that. She's 70 years old and she's being sent to a nursing home. You know, like I get the idea. It's just what's so fascinating about this case. You know, I really would like to see her get up in front and tell the story of her life to Soft White Underbelly. You know, it would be titled The Preacher's Daughter. And to go from what was her incredibly strict childhood life, not having her first drink of wine until maybe she's 23, and then finding herself in prison with really what is a life sentence. A judge gave her 25 years at the age of 65. A judge did that. And it's just, we've seen people get less time for having vehicular homicide. And we've seen people get 7, 8, 9 DUIs and get less sentences. Why a judge felt they had to give this 65-year-old woman a 25-year sentence, I don't understand. Now, I do get DUI. If you're an habitual offender, it's incredibly dangerous, right? Every time you get in that vehicle, it's just as dangerous as it's the most dangerous things that you can do, and you have to protect society. But it's still beyond me. 25 years. It doesn't make sense. And then just the way she's talking, she's like one of the most pleasant and beautiful, like soul, kind of like just chill, kind people I think I've heard just talk. There was no anger. There was no resentment. There was no frustration. There was none of that. It was just, she's grateful for the facility. She was grateful for all the opportunities, grateful to be alive. I mean, really, it seems like she's going from one prison to another to be in an old age home. That can't be pleasant. I just can't imagine that is going to be pleasant. And, you know, and she's so, like, imagine you find yourself one day locked up in a prison, and we know the type of felons she's locked up with. I mean, it's the worst of the worst. And here she is, his preacher's daughter, who seems to kind of have like her head in the sky a little bit, and where the vulgar language in AA is just too much for her to handle to even attend. You know, on the flip side, it was a bad interview. Since she didn't check all the boxes. She kept talking about spirituality and this and that, and, you know, her health versus, she didn't follow the rules of saying she's gonna get, you know, she's gonna basically like, you know, what they want to hear. You're gonna get a sponsor, and you're gonna go to programs, and you're gonna go to classes, and you're gonna do all this stuff. In that sense, she flunked. but maybe that has to do with her onset dementia. I don't know. But even then, she's like, no, I'll go to AA when I'm there. I just couldn't do it in this prison. It's cursing. I can't imagine being 65 years old and going to prison and being sentenced to 25 years and thinking that's it. And yet to not be bitter when she's like, I was married for 3 weeks. I don't know. She just seems so. I can only imagine the trauma baked in. I don't, it's just speculation, but I feel like there's probably so much trauma baked deep inside there that that sparked the drinking. And some people do bloom late, when it comes to partying. People who I'm a personal believer of not to restrict to that degree because it creates problems later on. Drinking has always been something that's been around my home, even way before I turned 21. And you would grow a tolerance, you would grow a respect for it, you would learn how to do it. And then when you go off, off to school and stuff, you can kind of tell who was restricted and who wasn't, because the guys or gals who were restricted, they would go crazy and then get sick. And, it's not a novelty for me. Like I know what I'm doing. So I didn't have those experiences. And I think that's a good, to hold someone back, it just creates a lot of problems. Just my 2.5 cents. But I don't know. I found this hearing just fascinating. And again, one of those things where I don't think if you didn't see it, you just couldn't believe it. But that's why we show it. We can learn a lot from Charlene E Norris, and I'm rooting for her. And hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow we can interview her one day. But with that, I'll let you go. But I'm really not letting you go. We're going to do one more hearing, and then I will let you go. If you haven't already, please do hit the algorithm thing. It really does help a lot with the algorithm. This hearing is quite interesting. It takes a few interesting twists. So, but with that, let's jump in.
Good morning. Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 10:24. Panel today is Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Maribel. I'll be acting as chair. Our remote location this morning is at Allen Parish Jail. Mr. Melbert, is there anyone from the staff there at Allen Parish in there with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
with the staff, please, at Allen Parish, introduce themselves.
My name is Molly Karam, and I'm the records clerk.
Thank you very much. Our next case is Mr. Joseph M. Melbert. Mr. Melbert, this is a parole revocation case. Would you please give me your full name and DOC number?
Joseph Michael Melbert, 711-129.
Thank you. Mr. Melbert, let me explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to cover with you your parole revocation questionnaire. Then I'm going to read to you the allegations of how it's alleged that you have violated your parole. At that time, I'm going to ask you as to each allegation to plead either guilty, not guilty, guilty with the statement, or not guilty with the statement. Then we will have a full discussion of your case, and then you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to the board before we vote. Do you understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
Do you have with you your parole revocation questionnaire?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that your signature at the bottom of the page dated June 13th of 2023?
Sir, repeat again. I can't just follow up.
Mr. Melbert, can you
Yes,
see
sir.
that your questionnaire?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, is that your signature at the bottom of the page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are those questions, when you answered them, accurate and correct?
Yes, sir.
Are they still accurate and correct today?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to proceed with your revocation hearing?
Sir.
Okay, I'm going to read to you the allegations. First one is number 2, you failed to submit a monthly report to your parole officer for the months of September 2021 through January of 2022 and March 22 through June of 2022. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
All right. Next violation is number 4. You violated this condition by remaining criminally active by committing the offenses of home invasion, aggravated second-degree battery, and simple criminal damage to property on or about July the 5th of 2022, and was arrested by the Allen Parish Sheriff's Office. On April 27th of 2023, you pled guilty to 2 amended counts of misdemeanor simple battery. How do you plead to those allegations?
Not guilty. Sir, I pled no contest. There was no
Okay.
contest.
We will let you talk to about that, okay? Under docket number ALN 2024 and sentenced to 6 months parish jail on each count to run consecutive with credit for time served. And finally, number 10, you failed to make any payments toward your supervision fees and are in arrears in the amount of $756. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty.
All right. Mr. Melbert, your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Would you please answer any questions Mr. Freeman might have?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Melbert, first off, today, be honest. I'm gonna tell you that straight up.
Yes, sir.
If you're
Yes, sir.
honest today, things may turn out different than you think, but I need to know. The camper was yours, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you went to the camper, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and an argument ensued?
Sir, the argument is someone I was asking, but they never come out. Yes, sir. Little argument, but it was nothing.
Did y'all fight?
Sir,
Did y'all fight, you and Mr. Zant?
Mr. Zant wasn't really no argument. I never touched him. I never put my hands on him. I never touched him.
So you never touched,
He's here to testify.
huh?
He's here to testify to it too.
He's here today to testify, you said?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Did he strike you with a flashlight?
Yes, across the head.
Okay. Are there any charges still pending or they all gone?
They're all gone.
Okay, so you pled guilty to simple battery, correct?
No contest.
No
Yes, sir.
contest, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell me what happened that night then? Because I thought we could get finished with this quickly, but tell me what happened.
Okay, on that day, the person that I bought it from, he called me and told me that somebody was there, they was living in the camper. No one's supposed to be in there. So that morning I got up, I went over there just to check to see if anybody was in there. Before I called the police, you have them removed. As I go over there and I knock, nobody answered me, but you can hear them inside moving around in there. They were moving around in there. And I knocked again. Nobody come. He come to the door, but he never went open. He standing at the door talking to me. I said, y'all cannot live, y'all cannot be in here. It's not even livable. It didn't have a toilet. It didn't have no electricity. It had a wire cable, a wire extension cord running from a house to it, running electricity. And I was telling them they cannot live in there like that. And and one day, he just started arguing with me. We started arguing, and he jumped out and hit me in the head. Hit me in the head.
Did you have a relationship with the young lady that was in the camper?
No, sir, we were friends, but no relationship.
You never had a sexual relationship with her?
No, sir.
Okay. And you've been in jail on these charges, right at a year, correct?
Yes, sir, for 13 months.
13 months, right. Got
Yes,
changed
sir.
up to 6/22. Got a compliance date of 6/26. Okay, I have no further questions. I want to ask some questions, whatever.
He doesn't know you. You say somebody's here?
Yes, sir.
Who is that person?
The victim. Supposed to be the victim.
Well, is she online
No,
with
the
us?
man.
Is he online with us?
He's
Yeah.
my dad.
He's there with you?
Yes, they gotta go get him.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and what's his name?
Miss she's on the phone.
All right,
She's on,
okay.
yeah.
That's Mr. Zant, Noah Zant.
Yeah, that's what he said, right? Yep.
I think you want to speak to you. I think you want to speak.
Yes, sir. I'm here, Molly Karam.
Yes,
Okay, did you have a question for me? I'm the jail staff.
no, ma'am, actually, we're waiting, supposedly there's a Mr. Noah Zant there that wants to speak to us.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure. Hold on one moment.
He said he was on the phone.
No, I think he said that she was on the phone, but they were calling up front.
Mr. Melbert.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sir.
I can't hear it.
I can't hear you if you're trying to talk with us.
Sir, the inmate, Noah Zant, is transferred to another facility at this time.
Oh, so Noah Zant is an inmate?
Yes, he was a fellow inmate.
Oh, and he's been transferred.
He's been
Do we know what
transferred.
he's in jail for?
I could find out if you give
Could
me
you
one moment. I have
please,
something.
maybe that might,
Ma'am, have y'all had any trouble with, Mr. Melbert since he's been in there?
No, sir, Mr. Melvers is a trustee status. He's been a trustee for over a year. He works in the laundry department.
Okay,
all right. Okay.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
You don't have to track him down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Melbert,
Yes, sir.
is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
I thought you had any more questions for me?
No,
Yeah.
I think you're doing all right.
Yeah.
So you might not want to say anything.
Sir? I'm trying to be, yes, I was just on the, if you wanted me to check on the reports, so they say I was reporting.
I'm not worried about the reports, okay? I'm not worried about the reports. I'm not worried about the money.
I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Melbert.
Sir?
I think we're ready to vote.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Melbert, you know, like you said, you went out there and all of that stuff. You've been in jail a year now. You did plead to 2 counts of simple battery. Well, you didn't plead, but you pled no contest, and I'm sure that was offered as a plea deal. Today, my vote is not to revoke your probation, but for you to take an anger management class.
Yes, sir.
Probation officer will set you up with that class. Stay in touch with the probation officer. Stay away from this young lady. You say y'all have no sexual relationship, which is fine, but I want you to stay away. Okay?
Yes, sir. Mr. Zan is here too. He's here.
He just arrived.
He just arrived. Mr. Zan.
Oh, okay, you just.
Well, Mr. Melbert, you're winning.
You're winning. You
You're
don't.
winning. I don't know if you might want Mr. Zan to testify or not. Well, here he is.
He was up front and I did not have that information. I apologize to the board.
That's okay, ma'am, thank you.
Mr. Zan, can you tell me what went on that night?
Nothing really. I mean, I don't really have a really good memory of it because I had failed. I had a gash in my head and I had passed out. So I was just going off of what a girl was telling me, but come to find out, the girl just wanted him to be in jail. So she finally opened up to me and told me that. So I kind of feel bad for him being in here this long for no reason.
Well, what are you in jail for?
I'm not in jail. I'm a citizen.
Oh, okay.
Well, was I in jail for?
No, I thought you was in jail now.
He's out.
You out, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm not in jail. Yeah,
I
but
don't have any further question.
I have one question. So did the girl tell you that was her trailer? Or did you think it was somebody else's trailer that y'all were in?
I was in the mindset that it was the girl's trailer.
Okay.
So everything that Mr. Melbert did was totally acceptable according to the law. It's just the fact that the girl was, I was knocked out when the cause that I fell and hit my head on the chair. So I mean, like there was no anything with him.
But you were there with her because you thought it was her trailer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right. You didn't realize you were trespassing. You didn't know that. Okay. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Zan. Okay, you voted?
Yeah, I voted. I voted to do not revoke and to attend the anger management.
All right, Ms. Wise?
Okay, my vote is the same for the same reason, based on the witness testimony as well.
Mr. Melbert, you have 2 votes, not to revoke. My vote likewise is the same, but you'll have to take an anger management class when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
good
sir.
luck, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. You know, today, so yeah.
I gotta tell you, we've never seen anything like that before. And it's just confusing, really. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I was so scared for him because they're literally like, you're ahead. You shouldn't, I think you're good. And then all of a sudden the cameras turned and here is this little kid sitting there. And then they start talking to him and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this can go so bad so quickly. And what if they revoke it? What if he says something like, who knows what's going to happen? And really, he said, I mean, to start with what he said meant almost, it's like, I don't remember what happened because I fell and had a gash on my head. And it's like, what? Like, literally, this guy's locked up. And and he just said that he didn't lay a hand on him, and now he's here saying that he had a gash, but it's because he fell. And I'm like, this is not going to go anywhere good. But actually, when you then look at this, so I Googled his name because I was just curious. Richard Noah Zant, and he was booked age 18. He was booked on 8/17/2022. 8/17/2022, and meanwhile, our friend Joseph was booked. I'll just share it with you here. For aggravated second-degree battery, simple criminal damage of property, and home invasion on July 5th, 2022, a year ago, basically today, like 2 days ago. And then you have Noah, who is booked basically for the same stuff. Criminal trespass, aggravated criminal damage to property, home invasion. His bond was at 177. And it just blows my mind. Like, this poor guy, I mean, really, it's his trailer. He buys this trailer. It's on a lot. The guy who he buys it from says, dude, there's people living in there. Like, what's up? So you can't have that. So he goes there to see what's going on. And there's 2 people in there. And then he tells them to get out. And this kid jumps out and hits him in the head with a flashlight, which was his story. But then the kid comes in and says, I don't even know. I was just unconscious. I don't remember a thing, which maybe he's doing it just not to incriminate himself. And then Miss Wise went and said, let me tell you, did you know that it was his trailer? And she went there and kept saying it. And maybe she was being kind to him and trying to make it so he wasn't incriminating himself also, right? I think that's what Miss Wise was doing. You thought it was her trailer. So basically, he came out here because all this can be used against him as a public record. He came out here and to testify, but meanwhile, we really did just hear that he jumped out and cracked him in the head with a flashlight, but he just said, I don't remember anything. I fell and cracked my head. I mean, there's some weird stuff going on. But what does seem incredible to me is that Joseph was locked up for a year, revoked, because it's his trailer. And I don't know if there's more to the story that we just don't understand, but I believe him. I actually believe Joseph. And I just think that he was just cut a bad deal. Like, that's it. He just shafted. And that's insane. It really is. I don't know what this woman or young lady or girl and what's going on there. They asked the question a few times if you have a relationship with her. And I mean, it's just the whole thing's bizarre. It's like, why is a 54-year-old man hanging out with this little 18-year-old kid, but they don't know each other? There might be more going on to this story than we know, but if there's not, it's a travesty that he's just spent a year locked up, revoked for something that really he didn't seem to do. And it seemed that he was just protecting his own property and then protecting himself. I don't know what's going on. Very confusing. And it could have backfired when he showed up. But anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think went down with this. And now I really will let you go. Please do the YouTube thing, and I'll speak to you later.